This is Caleb, and I'll be doing the peer review Champion B form for the Family Discourse My Story. The first thing that pops out to me grammatically is in sentence 1, the use of years of my family life sort of confuses the reader. I'll just read it for you. The memory from my childhood years of my family life that immediately came to mind was one of playing basketball with my older brother and some other boys when I was about 10 years old. I would just remove years of family life, so the memory from my childhood that immediately came to mind, it just reads a little bit smoother. And then in paragraph 1, sentence 2, there's no comma after boys. So the other boys were also older. You just straight shoot that one. Don't necessarily need a comma. In that same sentence, you'd want to remove also, and then put the parentheses around the same age as my brother, and then remove which are. So the sentence would read, the other boys were older, parentheses, around the same age as my brother, parentheses, about 4 years older than me, period. It just reads a little bit smoother. It also uses the parentheses in a way that I think is appropriate for the style. And then if you want to change the wording of that as well, that would definitely work. Paragraph 1, sentence 6. After difficult, you want to add a comma. So it reads difficult but painful instead of difficult but painful. Really, really small thing there, but it would help with the fluency. And then the last thing for paragraph 1 is in sentence 11. There's sort of an overuse of the word and. You can try to break it down into different segments using commas, or you could even probably break that into other sentences. Let me find sentence 11. Okay, here it is. At one point, the guy knocked me so hard, I lost my balance and fell to the ground and scraped my knees and started to cry. What I would probably do is list off all the things that you did as a reaction and end with an and. So, at one point, the guy knocked me so hard, I lost my balance, fell to the ground, scraped my knees, and started to cry. That just reads a little bit more fluently, or you could always break it down into other sentences. At one point, that guy knocked me so hard, I lost my balance, period. I fell to the ground and scraped my knees. Then I started to cry. That might read a little bit more fluently. Definitely breaks it down into parts that are a little bit more compartmentalized, so it's easier to remember the things that happened. Otherwise, it's all just sort of jumbled together sometimes. Moving on to paragraph 2. In paragraph 2, sentence 3, you used because twice in the sentence. You'll just want to remove one of them. Let's see where. Paragraph 2, 3. That is because in my family, because I am the third and youngest child in my family. It could read, that is because in my family, I'm the third and youngest in my family. Oh, you also use family twice. I'd remove one of the families as well. Or it could also read, that is in my family, or that is because in my family, I'm the third and youngest child. That would probably be the most smooth version of that sentence. In sentence 8 of paragraph 2, I'd put parentheses around including and attention. Let me see the exact portion. So instead of using comma, including my parents' love and attention, I'd throw in just a parentheses around, including my parents' love and attention. I'd also replace the semicolon with a comma if you do that, and remove the not only that follows. So altogether it would read, while I had to share everything, parentheses, including my parents' love and attention, parentheses, my friends could be little emperors who got the complete love and attention from their parents. Paragraph 2, sentence 10. The sentence reads a little bit odd. However, after that experience playing basketball with my older brother, I came to the realization that the reality is I have something that my friends will never be able to have, namely the love and attention of a brother and sister. The use of realization and the reality is, those are sort of more side comments than anything, which is fine. You can definitely have side comments. But realization, the definition is very similar to understanding the reality. So it's a little bit redundant to have both realization and reality. I would think that it would read a little bit better if you just included I came to the realization, as opposed to keeping that the reality is. So altogether it would probably just read, however, after the experience playing basketball with my brother, I came to the realization that I have something that my friends will never be able to have, namely the love and attention of a brother and sister. And then paragraph 2, sentence 10. I just read you that one. Sentence 11. I would remove the but. Indeed, while it's true that I must share my parents' love and attention with my brother and sister, I also get to enjoy the love and attention of my brother and sister. Sentence 12 of paragraph 2, I would remove the even. So instead of it reading, this has even become truer as I've gotten older and traveled abroad to study, it would read, this has become truer as I've gotten older and traveled abroad to study. Including even is just a little bit wordy for that sentence. Sentence 14. You'd want to make sure that you use the word abroad. It looks like it's just a little typo there, that it says aboard instead of abroad. So I'd just fix that. It's a really easy little thing. And then also in sentence 14, I'd remove the comma after complain. So many of my friends who have also studied abroad sometimes complain, I'd remove the comma, that their parents are too busy to call or text them. And those were really the only major grammatical errors that I saw. Most of those are really pretty easy fixes, just uses of comma or removal of some words. But overall, it looked pretty cohesive. On to the critical eye towards the visual and design elements. I think it's really helpful to see the picture of your siblings. It just shows that age difference between the two of you. It might be nice to see something like each person's names next to it, but it was pretty easy for me to tell which one was your older brother, which one was you, and which one was your sister. I think the background picture is really neat. Doesn't have a whole bunch to do with the story unless you dive in a little bit more on where you were born, where you were raised. I don't know how vital ships were to your heritage or to your family life growing up, but that might be something that you'd want to include for a little bit of exposition or background info. But it makes for a really cool background. Like the ships appear at just the right section, and then as you scroll up, it just gets light so that you can read the words pretty easily, and there's not a lot of images getting in the way of the words, which is important. As far as the title, I think you could probably move it around a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and click on some of your other pages just to see if it's consistent across the board. So it looks like the titles across the board are not necessarily super consistent, but maybe just try centering the top title and then maybe left align the My Story so that it lines up with the reflection on the left. But other than that, it's visually pretty appealing. It doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff to get in the way of the content. So in that regard, I think it's pretty nice. And then I'll go ahead and send this to you. Let me know if you have any other questions. if anything didn't make sense here, I'd be happy to help you out. Good luck in your final revisions, and have a great rest of your day.